Better than a quarter of the way into the new season, the buyers and sellers are hitting the phones dealing with their new reality. So our insiders, Chris Johnston, Pierre LeBrun, and Darren Dreger, are getting super busy. Dregs, let's start in Vancouver. Canucks open for business?
Yes, but we do need to apply some context in all of this. We know that Canucks management, Gino, sent a note to all general managers across the league on Monday just stating that they're willing to listen on their pending unrestricted free agents, not all of their veteran players. So we're talking about a very specific group here. If you look up front, you've got Kiefer Sherwood, who's having a great year. You've got Evander Kane and Teddy Bluger when he's healthy. But Patrick Allvin is also looking for a specific return. We know that he covets a centerman, but if there is a younger player that is made available, why wouldn't the Vancouver Canucks move an unrestricted free agent pending now as opposed to wait for the chaos of around trade deadline? But if they don't do that and they have to wait, they're okay with that too. They need to get healthy. They want to continue to battle because they know what's coming. And that's the uncertainty around their captain, Quinn Hughes. If the season doesn't improve, then as you get closer to the deadline, perhaps all bets are off and you have to revisit Hughes' future in Vancouver, either at the deadline or in the offseason.
Major chaos right now in Nashville. They're dead last. Barry Trotz is fed up. He made that clear in a profanity-laced interview with the Tennessean. But he said Andrew Burnett isn't going anywhere and Trotz doesn't want to go back behind the bench. So where do they go from here, Pierre?
Yeah, all eyes on his roster. And really that roster had begun a transition after last year's disappointing year. They're a younger team this year. And that's going to continue now as we get closer to the end of the season. Look for younger players to be integrated in that roster over time, which means, of course, listening on veteran players. Now, we've talked before about the possibility of Steven Stamkos and Jonathan Marchessault. Those guys have full no-trade clauses, but teams will check in, and the Predators are open to that. But the name that has the most interest is Ryan O'Reilly, not surprisingly. There are teams that called on him last year as well. Predators decided to keep him at the time. He's got a year and a half left on his contract at $4.5 million. Very appealing to teams looking for a center. The Stanley Cup champion, the Montreal Canadiens, among the teams that I'm told that have interest. What is the price tag for Ryan O'Reilly? I'm told when and if the Predators are ready to go down that route, it'll likely be a first-round pick plus an A-level prospect to get into the conversation on Ryan O'Reilly.
In the summer, Carter Hart was acquitted in the Hockey Canada sexual assault trial. Last month, he signed a 2-year deal with Vegas. What's next for him now, CJ?
Well, he's on track to resume his NHL career as of next week. That's when the official suspension lifts December 1st from the NHL, and the expectation is he will be recalled by the Vegas Golden Knights. Carter Hart has spent the last couple weeks in the American Hockey League with their team in Henderson, getting regular practice time. He's played 2 games on a conditioning stint, going 1-1 in those games, due to make another start Friday. And then after that point in time, the Golden Knights, which remain without Aiden Hill in the crease, are expected to recall Hart and start leaning on him. He hasn't played in the league in almost 2 years now.
We were all together at the NHL meetings when we found out that Seattle was paying what we thought at that point was a mind-blowing $650 million for expansion fee. But that could soon look like a great deal, CJ.
Yeah, we all thought Darren Dreger was a little crazy too a year ago when he reported the NHL could get $2 billion when it gets time for the next round of expansion. But that doesn't look quite so crazy now, Gino. There's been some evaluations released by CNBC in which they have found that in the last year, the overall team valuations for teams have risen 15% to $2.2 billion on average, which means the average team is worth a little bit more than that potential expansion cost. And I think a couple interesting things here. Media rights have driven that growth primarily, but also you've now have 3 of the 5 most wealthy ranked teams based here in Canada. That includes Edmonton Oilers, who moved into 5th spot, passing the Boston Bruins in the last year on the strength of those back-to-back appearances in the Stanley Cup final.
Guys, we're just over a month away from teams having to announce their Olympic rosters, and Team USA's got some tough decisions to make, Pierre.
Yeah, they do, which is a testimony to the depth they have. I mean, listen, Bill Guerin, the GM of Team USA, was spotted on Sunday afternoon, obviously watching Tage Thompson, the Buffalo Sabres. The previous day, he was in Montreal watching Cole Caufield, Lade Hudson. I asked Bill Guerin on this day about watching Caufield, and he said loves this compete, that he said he was happy got to see him play live again. And not just about Caufield, but about a growing number of players making it hard on Bill Guerin. He said, that's what you want. You want these decisions to be hard. I mean, you think about Logan Cooley, who had a 4-goal night Monday night. Jason Robertson's on fire. Alex DeBrincat, Clayton Keller, the list goes on. But the one thing I retained from my interview with Bill Guerin on this day was how hard and heavy the game was at Four Nations. And he said, quote, if you can't check, it's probably not the tournament for you, end quote. Read between the lines on that, if you will.
Sounds pretty exciting. They are the insiders, Chris Johnston, Pierre LeBrun, and Darren Dreger.